Top 1%. It's a funny term. It just drives me a little bit crazy. And I'm not sure whether I'm a victim or a warrior, but let me explain. So back in October, I was brought to my attention that I could potentially do a marathon. And I was like, no way. Read a bunch of books, thought about it. Then I had a knee injury, torn IT band, and it seemed like it was impossible. But in my head, I kept saying, well, top 1%, man, I can be one of those. But remember, I haven't run in 30 years since high school. Well, even longer than that now, but 30 years, I haven't run forever. So for me, running, number one, was nothing that I wanted to do. Two, I hadn't done it. And three, it's misery. So what pushed me to do it? Well, first of all, my son was in the marathon. So that was enough of a motivation for me to do it. But then on the same exact front of that, I was feeling old. Right. I was starting, obviously I went gray. Right. But I was feeling older and I was feeling like I'm starting to age. And I was like, I've got to do something about this. And it just seemed like the mission, the motivation, and what I needed to do to get into the shape, or at least the starting point of the shape that I intended to be in, because I did not want to be a hobbling geriatric as I got older, or hunched over because of my posture and things like that. Things I know I don't want, right? I may not be rich financially, but I don't want to be poor health-wise, right? So that was the reason why I got into it. And then I put it on Facebook. And once that happened, the game changed. I couldn't back out. There's no stopping, right? Like it's there, it's out into the ethereal. And now I'm a coward, I'm a failure, I'm a liar, I'm everything if I don't finish it. So I was in 100%. But a strange dynamic happened during the whole process. I started getting messages from people I didn't really know. Like they were in my group, but I didn't know them well personally. And it was motivational. It was cheering me on. It was people saying, hey, you've got me off the couch. Hey, tell me more about your diet. Tell me about the things you're doing. That was huge for me because every day, this was a miserable winter. Every day I went to run, it was 9 o'clock at night, freezing, iced over, glasses frozen over, pure misery, all by myself except for 2 runs. I ran for 5 months by myself, nobody else. It was pure misery, hell. But that motivation kept me going because now I was an example for others of what you can do if you actually try. Now, I'm not out there going, you got to be the healthiest person on earth. I'm not out there going, you shouldn't drink. I don't right now. I'm not a quitter. That doesn't mean that I'm going to stop drinking. But for now, it's just not a part of where my life is. I will probably eat things that are bad for me along the way and things like that. But in general, it's changed my perspective on my life and on health and food and fuel and how I look at things. And I did change my diet. I get a lot of questions from people about that, especially when I run into people in person, because I think it's changed the dynamic of my posture, changed my chest, my shoulders, my waist is thinner. I have what I'll call runner legs, skinnier legs than they were. I always had very thick legs. Now they're skinny legs, not like victim weight legs, but skinnier. So as I went through that, I went on the carnivore diet, and my all my biostats got better and better. So the more meat and butter and eggs that I had, the less my cholesterol was. But there's the trade-off. You can't have sugar. So I had to take sugar completely out of the diet. It was not easy. I am super addicted to sugar, and it's everywhere. It's prevalent everywhere. So very hard to do. So what I did was I transferred that. Right around the end of November, I went and got my testosterone levels checked, and they were low. So I went and I got hormone therapy for testosterone. Any male that is out there that is feeling tired in the afternoon, brain fog, doesn't have the energy levels they have, you're putting on fat, racking and stacking fat, you need to look into this. You need to seriously look into it, and don't just depend on your regular general practitioner. They have no idea what wellness is. I realized that as I went through this journey. There is so few people that really understand the value of that. And here we are just withering away, like just waiting to die because they don't understand it, because they're good at treating the illness. They're not good at preventing it. So I highly recommend you reach out to reputable wellness places, and specifically men. Women too can benefit from it. But that is a game changer. My life changed 100%. Mental clarity, stacked muscle, built weight. I didn't even have to lift, and I put 10 pounds of muscles on. So I highly recommend that you look into it. Now, mindset. Someone asked me a question about mindset. My mindset was pretty garbage a lot of times. I do not like running. I still do not like running. I found no joy in it whatsoever. I found the runner's high to be elusive and a lie. I found that injuries were everywhere to be had, probably because I didn't have enough run-up time to the marathon like normal people do. They run up and work up all their connective tissues and stuff. So I was like injured up until last month, and I just ran through it all. And I consider it physical therapy. I therapied myself through this. So my IT band issue, gone. Don't have to get surgery now. Crazy. My knees, they still hurt, but they're getting better day by day. And my mindset got so ugly because you were in pain all the time. I couldn't even bend down to tie a shoe for the whole entire prep, but I kept going forward because you guys, I had it on Facebook, had to do it. It wasn't going to fail. So what I learned along this process as it applies to business was, one, you cannot do this alone. In business, you can't do it. As an individual, you can't do it. And I did it for 5 months, but I never would have finished the marathon without the team, which was Bella and Ryan. So I could have never done it by myself. I'm 100% sure I would not have finished the marathon. But during the process, I certainly got to learn a lot about who I was. And I will tell you, when you're running 50 miles a week and you're on foot and you're in your own head, right? I had no one with me. I listen to music, podcasts go crazy. You get bored with music. As I did that, you start to like think about things. And I really started to think, man, I'm not calling all the people that I care about enough. And I just went down this roster of things that I would have never done if it wasn't for that alone time and thought time. So there is certainly value in it, but I'm not good in my own head. So it was misery for me along the way. You wanted to quit. So when you're running, you're like, I can quit now. I can Uber home. No one will know. You fail yourself, but you can't, right? The moment you let that weakness or that crack through, it's game over. You'll convince yourself right out of everything. That was the hardest part. Now, the crazy thing I learned was I am capable of a whole lot more than I ever thought I was. And I always considered myself a pretty capable businessman, capable, fitness wise. But boy, it just puts you at such a next level. And that's why I guess only 1% of the population of the world finishes a marathon. What it changed in me, that was a question someone asked. I think that it changed my perspective as a human. So there's a lot of people that watched along the way, some that made comments, some that maybe felt like I was affront with them, like I'm throwing it in their face that I was being fit. But once I started to get that word from people that weren't fit, that they were getting off the couch and they were doing something good for themselves. And I'm not like selling supplements here. I'm just a simple person trying to complete a marathon. That changed things for me because I don't care what dynamic you're in. If a walk around your block is good for you, do the walk around the block and then do 2 next week and then do 3 the week after. Like, I want you to be healthy because getting old, being crippled, being unhealthy sucks. There's no other way to put it. Like, there is no good excuse I can think of. And this became so firm in my head. I cannot be on my deathbed saying to my kids goodbye because I didn't do the things I could to be with them another 10 years. That just makes no logical sense to me. If you say you love someone, you do that. That for me is a big piece of the puzzle. So I focus in on it now very, very, and trust me, I want to quit all the time. I'm still lifting weights at night and I hate it. Now, what is the one thing that they did not tell you in all the books and all the marathon threads? So there is this thing that is, I guess it's in your brain called myelin. And I had no idea this existed. And apparently when you're an unfit older guy that's trying to do a marathon, your body starts to eat itself. And myelin is an energy source. And my brain had the myelin all eaten up. It went at it and it went for it for fuel. And what it did, not the day of the marathon, but the day after the marathon, I actually lost some motor control in my legs. And I also lost some mental capacity. I couldn't do things on my computer screen because of it. Now, the good news is it's very temporary, but it shows you how brutal marathons are on your body and what you need to overcome. So I really think when people say like, it's a no big deal, or you see that 26.2 on the back of a car, that is super reputable. When you see these people doing it in 2 hours, now, first of all, they're all victim weight, right? They're all like 120 pounds. So it's a big difference between a 210 pound person and 120 pounds. Gravity sucks a whole lot more at 220 pounds. But nonetheless, they are extraordinary athletes. And people who do this and love it, I don't understand it. But I will commend you because the ones who rock this out on a regular basis, you are a breed that is very rare, right? So, and the last question was someone asked me, what's next? I don't know. I'm probably going to go back to the mountains. I'm at peace there. I love the mountains. I love doing things in the mountains. Running, is it gone? No. I'm going to run probably about 10 miles a week just for health purposes, but I will not do anything else. And the one little pet peeve I got, and I apologize for this if I came across short with some people, everybody wants to tell you about what they ran. And I came from dying and almost calling an ambulance at 1 mile to doing the 26.2, right? And as I went along that journey, like a 5K became warm up, like nothing, like who's doing a 5Ks are a joke, right? And then a 10K became a joke, and then 15 and 20. And everyone's telling you how they did half marathons. I'm like, you don't really get it. twice that is what you're running. You're thinking that's an effort. But in fact, for some, it is an effort. And I congratulate you on it. And I probably was a little bit short because I was in the world of hell. But the journey of that and the fact that my human body can go from 1 mile dying to 26.2 and go have a beer afterwards in 5 months, that tells you how capable our bodies are and how capable our minds are. And anything else is squandering it to me. So I've learned a great lesson. There's my wrap up on the marathon. I do not suggest this for anyone. I will not suggest it. I do not suggest it. But it was something that I did. And I guess you can say I'm in the top 1%. And I don't know whether I'm a victim or a warrior.